Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about an issue that affects many people, debt. The feeling of having overdue bills and accumulated debts can be very stressful and challenging, but it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, we will present some strategies that can help you pay off your debts more quickly and regain your financial health. The first strategy is to focus on the debts with the highest interest rates. It is important to identify which debts are generating the most charges and prioritize them in payment. This means that even if you have other debts, it is important to pay at least the minimum amount of those high-interest debts to prevent the interest from continuing to accumulate. It is crucial that you analyze all of your debts and identify those with higher interest rates. Generally, credit cards and personal loans are the types of debt with the highest interest rates. Once you have identified these debts, it is important to prioritize them in your payment plan. Even if you have other debts, it is essential that you make the payment of at least the minimum amount of these high-interest debts to avoid further accumulation of interest. This way, you can start reducing the outstanding balance more quickly and save money on interest over time. In addition, it is important that you avoid making new debts while paying off your existing debts. This means that you should try to limit your expenses as much as possible and cut unnecessary expenses. The more money you can save, the more money you will have to pay off your debts. Remember that the process of paying off debts can be time-consuming and require a lot of discipline and perseverance. However, by focusing on the debts with the highest interest rates and avoiding new debts, you will be on the right track to get rid of your debts more quickly and achieve your financial freedom. The second strategy is to renegotiate debts. If you are having difficulty paying off a debt, you can contact the financial institution or creditor and try to renegotiate the payment terms. It is possible to get a reduction in interest, an increase in the payment period, or even a discount on the total amount of the debt. But remember that it is important to negotiate only what you can afford to pay, so as not to end up in even more debt. Renegotiating debts is an important strategy for those who are having financial difficulties. This option can be useful for people who cannot afford to pay off the debt installments, but still have conditions to make smaller payments over a longer period. When contacting the financial institution or creditor, it is important to explain your financial situation and present a viable payment proposal. If your goal is to reduce the amount of interest, be prepared to present arguments that justify this request. In some cases, it is possible to get discounts on the total amount of the debt, but it is important to remember that when renegotiating a debt, it is necessary to have a serious commitment to payment. If the financial institution or creditor realizes that you are not complying with the negotiated conditions, legal action may be taken to recover the borrowed money. Therefore, before opting for debt renegotiation, make a financial plan to check if it is possible to comply with the new payment conditions. Otherwise, you may end up worsening your financial situation. Also, remember that even after renegotiating debts, it is important to maintain financial control to avoid new debts. The third strategy is to reduce your expenses. By reducing your monthly expenses, you can direct more money towards paying off your debts. It's important to evaluate your expenses and identify where cuts can be made. For example, you may be able to save money by reducing expenses on leisure activities, transportation, food, or subscriptions to services that you don't use frequently. Reducing expenses may seem like a difficult task, but it's essential for those who want to pay off their debts more quickly. A good way to start is by creating a personal budget, noting all your monthly expenses and identifying areas where there can be a reduction. Some suggestions include avoiding eating out frequently, opting for cheaper brands of products at the supermarket, saving on public transportation or gasoline, and finding ways to reduce your electricity, water, and phone bills. Additionally, it's important to evaluate your consumption habits and identify if there are any unnecessary expenses that can be cut or reduced. For example, if you subscribe to multiple streaming platforms, you may choose to cancel some of them to save money. If you frequently buy clothes, you can choose to postpone or reduce those purchases. Another important tip is to establish savings goals. By setting a clear goal to save money, it becomes easier to stay motivated and committed to reducing expenses. For example, you can set a goal to save a certain amount per month and direct that savings towards paying off your debts. Remember that reducing expenses doesn't mean sacrificing your quality of life, but rather finding a financial balance that allows you to pay off your debts and achieve your long-term financial goals. The fourth strategy is to consider debt consolidation. If you have multiple debts, it may be beneficial to consolidate them into a single loan or credit card with lower interest rates. This can make it easier to pay off your debts, as you'll have a single payment to make and may be able to secure lower interest rates. Consolidating debts is an option that can work well for some people, but it's important to be cautious. Before making this decision, it's important to evaluate whether the new loan or credit card actually offers a lower interest rate and whether the monthly payment fits into your budget. Additionally, you need to have the discipline to not incur more debts in the future, as this can further complicate your financial situation. An important tip is to research and compare the different loan and credit card options available in the market. Some banks and financial institutions offer special conditions for debt consolidation, but it's important to carefully read all the contract terms before closing a deal. Remember that debt consolidation isn't the solution for all cases. In some cases, it may be more advantageous to negotiate directly with creditors or seek other forms of debt renegotiation. Therefore, it's important to evaluate all options before deciding which strategy to follow to pay off debts more quickly. The fifth strategy is to seek additional sources of income. If you're having difficulty paying off your debts with your current salary, it may be beneficial to seek additional sources of income. This can include selling items that you no longer use, freelance work, or even a second job. Seeking additional sources of income is an important strategy for those in debt, as it allows you to direct more money towards paying off debts. There are various ways to seek this additional income, depending on each person's skills and resources. One option is to sell items that are no longer used, such as clothes, electronics, furniture, and others. This can be done through online sales websites, buy and sell groups on social media, or even consignment stores. Another option is to seek freelance work, which can be done in alternative hours to your main job. There are various online platforms that connect freelancers to job opportunities in areas such as writing, design, translation, programming, and others. It is also possible to consider the possibility of a second job, as long as it does not negatively affect your health and quality of life. Some options are part-time jobs, weekends, or night shifts. It is worth noting that when seeking additional sources of income, it is important to be careful not to overload yourself and compromise your physical and mental health. Additionally, it is essential to direct this extra income towards paying off debts rather than using it for unnecessary expenses. Finally, it is important to maintain discipline and commitment to debt repayment. Remember that this is a process that may take time and effort, but the results are worth it. Stay motivated and keep in mind the goal of getting out of debt and recovering your financial health. We hope these strategies have been helpful for you. If you have other strategies or tips for paying off debts more quickly, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video to help more people take care of their finances.